Yo, what's up everyone? OJ here, and we are back with the big one. If you've been catching my live streams for the past day or so, you guys kind of know what's going down here, but now we have some more evidence when it comes to Metroid Prime Trilogy, Persona 5, and also a new one entering the fray here, and that's The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Let's go ahead and get into this here. So Best Buy's internal system has listed The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Metroid Prime Trilogy, and Persona 5 for the Nintendo Switch. So Best Buy's internal Core Blue system has listed those games there. Once again, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Metroid Prime Trilogy, and Persona 5 for the Nintendo Switch. Now, news first broke when Twitter user Mystic Distance posted a image link of screenshots taken from the Persona 5 Nintendo Switch listing in Best Buy's Core Blue system. Now, Twitter user Wario64, which I know many of you guys do know, who regularly tweets video game related deals, was able to confirm the listing is in the Core Blue system. Wario64 soon followed up with updates revealing that both The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and also Metroid Prime Trilogy are both listed. Now, the SKUs for all three of the titles are within close range of each other, only being a few numbers off, meaning that they were likely all added to the system one after the other. One of the in-between SKUs is Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age S, the definitive edition for the Nintendo Switch. Now here's a little bit of a breakdown of each product listing. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past was originally released for Super Nintendo in 1991 and was ported to the Game Boy Advance in 2002. A virtual console version was released for the Wii U in January 2014, and a new Nintendo 3DS in April 2016. That said, the listing is probably the strangest of the batch, being that Nintendo recently announced a remake of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Switch. Now, Metroid Prime Trilogy has been rumored for the Nintendo Switch in the past, with Game Informer's Imran Khan saying in January that development on the collection is long done and that it was originally supposed to be announced in December 2018. Now, Persona 5 has been rumored for the Nintendo Switch ever since the announcement of Persona 5 protagonist Joker coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a downloadable content character. Best Buy also recently leaked the render for Joker in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate recently. Atlus opened a teaser website for Persona 5S, which will be officially revealed on April 25th. So this is interesting to hear about all of this stuff here. So let's go ahead and talk about the obvious things first, and that is Metroid Prime Trilogy. I think Metroid Prime Trilogy is something that is definitely going to happen. Many people have talked about it. Metroid Prime 4 is one of those games that got like delayed, it got retconned, it got blown to smithereens, and starting over development with Retro Studios. So they're not going to release Metroid Prime Trilogy at this point because they don't know when Metroid Prime 4 is going to be like an official thing. So it makes sense to hold on to that one and release it closer to when maybe you can give us like a timetable of Metroid Prime 4. But either way, they're holding on to it, and that's kind of what I heard. I heard all the different information that other people have heard when it comes to Metroid Prime Trilogy, that it is a real thing. But the biggest thing that people are talking about this game when it comes to it is a Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake. It's not going to be like that, guys. I personally feel that it's going to be more like Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess HD or the Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker HD, to where you're going to have some upgraded textures, resolution, all of that, but it's not going to be a complete overhaul of how the game looks. So don't expect that. And yeah, I would expect it to be announced at E3 or maybe even at a Nintendo Direct. People are talking about rumors in terms of that. So it could come at any one of those. So Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, I think that's definitely going to be a thing on the Nintendo Switch. And I've also gotten questions on like the controls in the game and how that's going to be. I would guess that they would revert the controls back to Metroid Prime on the GameCube, how you control that one. But it's very possible that there's going to be optional play for IR pointing controls and everything with the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, but I would think that they want you to be able to play it in portable mode, and therefore you cannot use the type of stuff that Metroid Prime on the Wii had with Metroid Prime 3, and then even with Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Wii, they actually forced you to use motion controls, and you weren't able to use the regular controls in the game. So I don't think they're going to do that again. I think they're going to give you the default control scheme that you saw in Metroid Prime 1 and Metroid Prime 2 for the game, with maybe an optional control scheme for Joy-Con and everything like that. So let's talk about the next thing that I think is pretty obvious, and that is Persona 5. And this one is a little bit interesting because this is something that a lot of people, myself, Spawncast members, we've all talked about Persona 5 potentially coming over. There's been plenty of rumors on this one, and it's interesting because everyone thinks that, oh, well, this started back in 2018 with Joker being revealed for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but that's not the origins of when Persona 5 could have been coming. There were rumors about Persona 5 back in 2017, around the launch of the original PlayStation 4 game and around the launch of the Nintendo Switch. There there were rumors about Persona 5 coming over to the system, because if Nintendo was going to get Joker in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they'd have to start talking in terms of what they would want, right? You can't just do things, snap your fingers overnight, then all of a sudden a wild Joker appears and then he's in the game. There's legal stuff. You have to plan these things out. So these rumors actually go all the way back to 2017. Now, not many people reported on it or even put any stock into it because it seemed like a clear-cut Persona PlayStation exclusive, and then one of the guys for like Atlas USA talked about that, or whatever the case was. But I did report on it multiple different times, so this is something that actually goes beyond 2018 with the Game Awards and everything like that. So I've always felt that there's a chance that Persona is going to come over to the Nintendo Switch, and with this listing here, it does seem, and what a lot of people aren't talking about, is the potential that Persona 5S, or whatever this Persona is for the Nintendo Switch, is actually an upgraded and better version of the game. A lot of people are thinking that it might be the vanilla version of the game because Persona 5, the Royal, whatever that's going to do, but Nintendo was listed as the publisher in the leaked inventory system for Best Buy. They were actually listed as the publisher, so if they're doing the same thing with Dragon Quest XI-S, you guys know what they're doing there, right? Where there's a bunch of extra content to where they're publishing the game here in the West. I think that this could be the version of the game that might be the version to get, because it's going to have everything and then some, and other things as well, because Dragon Quest XI-S Definitive Edition has that, and it seems like it's going to be the same type of like lettering. I mean, you have the S and everything like that, so who knows what's going to happen with this one here. So we kind of have to wait and see, because I've already seen some people say, oh well, it's just going to be the vanilla version, it's not going to be like the Royale and have extra content, but we don't even know what the Royale is at this point. We don't even know what that is, and that's not even officially confirmed for any type of data or anything. We're just getting more information on April 24th with that game, and then April 25th we're getting more information on Persona 5S. But what we do know is that Nintendo is listed as the official publisher in that Best Buy Core Blue system, and on top of that, there's been multiple different rumors. Persona 5S has been trademarked officially. There's an official website, and that's obviously not Persona 5R, because we knew about that game with everything and what they've done. And you have to remember, Persona 5S and Persona 5R were trademarked right around the same time, and many people speculated that there could be a Switch version and a PlayStation 4 version, and could be content based on either one of those. So it's very interesting to see that Nintendo was listed on there, because Nintendo has published third-party games before on the Nintendo Switch. You look at stuff like Dragon Quest Builders 1, Dragon Quest Builders 2, both of those were published by Nintendo or helped with distribution. I think with Dragon Quest Builders 1, I think both of them were published. I know for a fact Dragon Quest Builders 2 is published by Nintendo, and that game has exclusive content for Nintendo Switch. Same thing with Dragon Quest Builders 1, exclusive content, Dragon Quest XI-S, exclusive content. So we've seen it before from Nintendo, so I wouldn't doubt that it can happen again with Persona 5. Now let's talk about this last thing here, and the one that's kind of interesting, and that is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So with this one here, I'm not really sure. I haven't heard anything about this one. There hasn't been many rumors. We do know already about The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. We already know about that. That's coming out this year, looking like it's going to be December or late in the year. And we don't know what they're going to do with this one here. Is it going to be a full remake, or is it just going to be the original release just put on like some type of virtual console service, or to where maybe you get it as like you pre-order? If you pre-order Link's Awakening, maybe you get this game, or maybe it's just an individual game that you can just buy. Nintendo introduces a new service, right, with that. So, and I mean service as in like Super Nintendo games on the system or on the eShop that you can buy, or maybe they're included in your membership, whatever the case is, but it's a SKU. So that means it's going to be physical, right? All of these have SKU numbers, or SKU, stock keeping unit. That means it's going to be physical. So all of these are going to be physical units. So they might just be doing some type of remake. It's very possible that there could be a remake of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. That's very possible that it could happen. And it's not just a virtual console release or the original one. This is something that they announced this year, and they could release it in early 2020, or it could just be like a mid 2020 game. Maybe it's done, because I think that Link's Awakening is pretty much done, and they're probably just doing some polishing, and maybe they've already moved on to the next title, ready to go on something else. So that's a possibility as well. Nintendo is humming when it comes to their game development. They've got HD down, they're working with good architecture, and they're really moving when it comes to the development teams. Nintendo easily has the most development teams out there out of any first-party manufacturer out there, and of any publisher out there. They've got the most, and they're really working on a bunch of different games. So we'll have to wait and see what this Link to the Past ends up being, if it is anything at all. Now, once again, guys, this isn't 100% confirmed, but it's not really a rumor at all. These shots in the core blue system is something that's been confirmed by multiple people that work there. So the fact that there's SKUs and the fact that there's UPC numbers and everything like that, it's just lining up for this to actually be real here, guys. But we'll have to wait and see for the official announcement. But with Joker's inclusion in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it makes sense, right? And Metroid Prime Trilogy makes sense as well. So what do you guys think about all of this new information that we've seen here? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.